When did we start treating the people who keep our world running as invisible? Minimum wage workers are the backbone of our economy, yet they are often overlooked and undervalued. This isn't just about economics, it's about the failure to recognize the human dignity in every job. When you walk into a frozen yogurt shop, you know you're going to have a simple, pleasant experience. You pick the flavor, add your favorite toppings, and enjoy the treat. But what you don't see is the story of the person behind the counter, the one making sure everything runs smoothly. A few days ago, I watched a video called Minimum Wage Jobs, which shows the life of a young minimum wage worker, revealing the harsh realities of a vital yet often overlooked job. This young woman's first job isn't in a large corporation, but in a small business run by dedicated people. What may seem like a trivial job at first glance teaches deep lessons about the real world, from the pressure of maintaining a good reputation in a local business to the reality of cleaning up after customers who don't think twice before making a mess. Her story isn't unique but reflects what many face daily, a reality that starkly contrasts with the common perception that minimum wage jobs are just temporary gigs or stepping stones to something better. Imagine her hands moving swiftly as she restocks the toppings bar, the cool air of the freezer sending shivers down her spine. The clock ticks louder in her ears as she rushes to slice strawberries, every second counting. She wipes a bead of sweat from her forehead, knowing the store's reputation and her job depends on getting it right. This video is not just a story about a teenage job. It's a chat about how our society values work and the workers who do it. First, the reality of minimum wage jobs is that they are dirty, difficult, and underestimated. Then, both the workers and society at large undervalue them. Let's talk about what can be done to change this reality, not just for those in these jobs today, but for the future of our society. Dignified work deserves a dignified wage. Essential work should get noticed. Hard work deserves respect. Think about the last time you grabbed a coffee or had your groceries bagged. Did you notice the person behind the counter? What do you think their day has been like? When we stop to consider these small interactions, we start to see the bigger picture of our shared humanity. What's at stake here isn't just a paycheck. It's human dignity, which should be respected in every situation. If work is the lifeblood of our society, then workers are the heart that keeps it pumping. It's key to understand that what's at stake here goes beyond individual experiences. We are talking about a broader social phenomenon, where the devaluation of minimum wage work reflects a moral and structural failure in our society. The video shows the personal experience of the young woman in her first job at a frozen yogurt shop. Although the work seems simple, it teaches fundamental lessons about hard work, responsibility, and the importance of service. The young woman describes how she gets involved in tasks that require attention to detail and a strong sense of duty, even when facing difficult customers or unpleasant tasks. A lot of people just think of minimum wage jobs as stepping stones, right? But that's missing the bigger picture. Picture the young woman alone in the shop, racing against the clock to restock the toppings bar, slice strawberries, and ensure the store is spotless for the next customer. She works in silence, fully aware that the store's image and the customer's satisfaction depend directly on her performance. Now, ask yourself, is this effort really worth only $7 an hour? The gap between the effort required and the reward offered shows how much we underestimate these workers. Did you know that if minimum wage had kept pace with inflation, it would be about $24 an hour today? That's more than 3 times what it is in many places right now. Imagine the difference that would make for families trying to make ends meet. This wage stagnation is a glaring testament to institutional neglect of essential work. Studies show that raising the minimum wage not only benefits workers, but also boosts the local economy by increasing purchasing power and reducing dependence on social welfare programs. In countries like Denmark, where the minimum wage is higher, we see that these jobs are valued and workers enjoy a much better quality of life, which in turn strengthens society as a whole. Some argue that minimum wage jobs are simple and therefore deserve low pay. However, this view overlooks the challenging roles these workers play and their social importance. In countries with higher minimum wage, workers are treated with respect, resulting in a more motivated workforce and a more equitable society. If we believe that every human being has intrinsic value, then we must agree that all dignified work deserves dignified pay. Treating minimum wage work as less valuable keeps social inequality and injustice going, values that should be fought in an ethical and conscious society. This devaluation of minimum wage workers isn't an isolated problem, but part of a broader system of exploitation that values profit over human dignity. This mindset affects not only the workers, but also the social and economic structure of our communities. Large corporations and lawmakers keep the devaluation of minimum wage workers going. Even in an economy that generates astronomical profits for corporations, these companies often choose to keep wages low to maximize profits, while lawmakers fail to enforce laws that guarantee fair wages. This systemic devaluation isn't just an economic failure, but a betrayal of the core values of fairness and justice. Companies that generate billions in revenue have a moral responsibility to ensure that their workers, those who truly make the business function, can live with dignity. The practice of paying low wages while profits climb reflects a corporate culture that values capital over people, and this is unacceptable. We can think of large companies as giant machines that consume everything in their path, including the dignity of their workers. Every cog in the machine, the minimum wage worker, is essential to its operation but is treated as disposable and replaceable. This is the cruelty and injustice of a system that exploits labor without offering a fair reward. In the video, there's mention of a 26 million fine paid by a large company for violating labor laws. While that amount might seem significant, it's a tiny fraction of the billions these corporations generate daily. Paying fines as a cost of doing business, rather than paying fair wages, shows a cynical strategy of profit maximization at the expense of workers' rights. Studies show that companies that pay fair wages experience lower employee turnover, higher productivity, and a better reputation, which in turn increases long-term profits. Research across different economies shows that higher minimum wages tend to strengthen local economies, as well-paid workers spend more within their communities, boosting local businesses and reducing reliance on welfare programs. Do we want to live in a world where profit is more important than human dignity? Or do we prefer a society where all workers are respected and can live with dignity? Let's take a moment to think about how this cycle of exploitation not only affects individual workers, but also weakens the social fabric of our society. The young woman in the video reveals the exhaustion, emotional burnout, and constant struggle to balance work, studies, and personal life. Devaluation isn't limited to the economic field. It extends to the mental and physical health of workers. Constant stress, combined with a lack of recognition, can lead to serious issues such as depression, anxiety, and a shorter life expectancy. Research shows that these conditions don't just affect workers, but also their families and communities, perpetuating a cycle of poverty and inequality. By underestimating the impact of minimum wage work, we are ignoring essential values like empathy, justice, and social responsibility. A just society is one that values all types of work, recognizing the contribution of each individual to the common good. Devaluation leads to despair, reinforces inequality, and erodes dignity. Research shows that minimum wage workers have higher rates of stress-related illnesses and lower life expectancy. Furthermore, children who grow up in households where parents earn low wages have fewer chances of academic success, keeping the cycle of poverty. This isn't just an economic issue, it's a matter of social justice. Some might argue that these jobs aren't meant to support a family and therefore shouldn't pay a higher wage. However, this view ignores the reality that many people, including single parents and immigrants, rely on these jobs to support their families. Moreover, all work is important, and all workers deserve a dignified life, regardless of the role they play. The reality of minimum wage workers may seem distant or irrelevant to some, but it is actually really important to our entire society. The video Minimum Wage Jobs clearly shows how these workers, who should be recognized as fundamental, are often devalued, underpaid, and mistreated. It's key that we offer fair wages, decent working conditions, and social recognition that reflects their true importance. Just like the young woman who quietly ensures your frozen yogurt is perfect, every worker deserves to be seen, valued, and respected. The true measure of our society isn't in how we treat the powerful, but in how we treat those who serve us every day. Let's start by recognizing that all work and all workers deserve our respect. Think about the untold stories of workers who, despite the hardships, continue to serve with a smile, continue to dedicate themselves to jobs that many consider insignificant. These people have dreams, aspirations, and above all, deserve the same respect as any other professional. When we start seeing each worker as a valuable member of our community, we not only change our perspective, but also the reality around us. Now the responsibility falls on us. We can continue to live in a society that turns its back on those who keep it running, or we can act to change this reality. Let's support policies that raise the minimum wage, demand better working conditions, and above all, treat every worker we encounter with the respect they deserve. And you? What will you do from now on? The next time you interact with a minimum wage worker, will you remember that this person is a pillar of your community? Will you be willing to stand up for changes that guarantee a dignified life for everyone? This is a decision only you can make, but it will have profound consequences for the future of our society. If you like this video and enjoyed my analysis, I'm leaving another video on your screen that you'll probably enjoy as well. So click on it and I'll see you in a few seconds. Bye.